Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's me, Corrine, obviously. Hope you're all having a good day today. Welcome back to those of you that have joined me previously. If you're brand new, welcome to you as well. I'm glad you found us. Today I'm going to continue on with the series that I've been doing about uh, kind of bringing some to control to a chaotic background. Whether that be alcohol inks, you've done some ink smooshing, you've done ink layering with sprays, or you've done like explosion powders, things like that. So how do you take what can be a very, very busy background, for example, like something like this, and turn it into, take this and go, oh, that's very overwhelming, into something that allows space for your eye to rest, but turn it into something that's really gorgeous. Okay, so that's what today is going to be. This is another technique, and this is actually utilizing dies that cut into your card front. Okay, so here's one example. And that was using this die here. So what it does is it cuts into the card front, and then you can actually, sorry, well, I'm not going to try and line that up, but then you can put your cardstock or your background panel behind it. And then I just cut using some circle nested dies, just cut a circle that fit over top of that to also then frame in the foliage and cut my sentiment out of my background. So it kind of coordinates together. So that was using this die here. So you can see it doesn't actually have an edge to cut out everything. So it left all of this beautiful white, the white leaves on the inside. So that's one way. Okay. Here is the second card that I did, and that is using this particular die. So it cuts away kind of like the sun or the moon, depending on like the sunset, the sunrise, whatever you want, and then kind of the water leaves some of the seagulls. And again, I cut it out of my card front, or I put a it's not my card front actually. I put a false panel on there so that I could put my have a nice clean on the inside. You don't want to be able to see where you're sticking where your colored panel is, because oftentimes, I don't know about your guys's, but I get a lot of color. See, for example, on the back of this panel, there's a lot of color. That's not going to look pretty if I put this in there. Looks nice from the front, but then you go to open your card panel and this is what you see. Not so pretty. So I cut a card front. So I cut that into there, and then cut out my sentiment out of the same paper that I used for the background. This turned out really, really beautiful. I'm really happy with that. It's never fun to have to do a sympathy card, but there you go. Here's another one. This was a particularly, this background was a little busy, so you can just kind of see it there. It's kind of light. It was explosion powders, might have been mica spray, distressed mica sprays as well. So it had a lot of shine to it. And I actually made a shaker card out of it. And yeah, I was using this die. So you can see here, I put that into my card front or my card panel, cut it out, and then added foam tape and whatnot behind it, stuck it down, and then added the color of my very busy background onto here. Okay, so those are three different examples of what these dies can do. I have another one that's a clouds with a moon kind of thing. It's great for Halloween. It's also really lovely for sympathy cards. But I have a few of those, and they're fun to use. They create a different level, a different look of a card. So for me, what I want to do this time is I'm going to show you this die. So this is the die that I'm going to play with today, showing you how to work with this. So hopefully, by watching, you've seen the examples now of what these dies can do. So you might have one in your stash. Maybe you want to pick one up, but check and see in your stash what you might have already before you go out and buy something new. If you don't have the same problem that I have. So that's good. Good for you if you don't have that. That's awesome. So this is, again, another die. If you look, this should be, oh, this is not going to work out the way that I thought it would be. So this, I don't know if you can see here. I'm going to try and bring this up to the edge. So this, I'm putting my tweezers in here. This actually has a cut lip here. So I can feel the difference. So this will cut out both sides of the card or of my card stock, etc. But that's okay because I'm still going to utilize this one versus, let me show you here which one didn't cut into. So if I hold up this die here, you can see here, so here's where my cut edge is, but if I go out this way, it doesn't cut this edge here. So it's only cutting in to these, which is that white area on my card front that came in, right? That's what those are. Same thing on this die here. There's no cut edge on this leaf here. Cut edge here, so it cuts away this part, but this would still be the white. This right here is still the white. Okay, so this particular die, I thought it just cut out of my cardstock, which it will do, but we're gonna switch this up just a little bit. So this is going to be the composition of my card. Okay. And I have a die over here. So these are going to be birthday. This is going to be a birthday card because obviously it's got the candles. Could be an anniversary card as well. That would work well enough. But I picked out two dies that I wanted to have, have a pretty significant weight for a sentiment on the front. So I picked out this one. This one says happy birthday, and it does have a shadow. I wouldn't be using the shadow on this one. And this sentiment, the style kind of goes with the card, but you can see here, it's too big. It's going to hang off. So this one isn't going to work. I have this other one here that says birthday wishes, and it also has the shadow. I won't be using the shadow today, but it says birthday wishes right here. And I think that that's going to fit and frame that really nicely. Because ideally what I'm going to do is be making a shaker card for this. So I'm going to line it, have it on the back. I'm going to make sure my card front is pretty clean here. And so let's go here. So because I'm making this a shaker card as well, I want to make sure that I'm going to have some space around this to frame it, which is why I'm checking out what my spacing is going to be here. Okay, so let's tape this down. Oops, and it moved again. All right, I can get this relatively, not to be perfectly straight, but I do want it to be somewhat centered, somewhat straight, at least to the naked eye. All right. Oops, good one, no. All right. Now I'm going to cut this out of my card front using my Gemini Junior just off to the side here. Yeah, I do have a shim and my magic mat in this. This is not necessarily, it's not too, I don't think I want those. It's a little bit intricate with the where the candles are. So I do want to make sure that that's going to go through all the way without it tripping up kind of thing. Send that through my die cut machine here off to the edge, off to the side, I mean. And this out, and so one, and edge, and I'm going to put this to the edge. So now you can see I have a very nice clean cut in here. So that's really quite nice. Okay. And put this to the edge, and I'm going to pop this out so you can see what the die looks like. Okay. Put that to the side. So it cut out really lovely. So that's always nice. It's always nice when I don't have to fiddle too much when I'm on camera with you guys. Okay, so this would fit back in right here. Okay, so that's what it's essentially going to look like. Let me put this to the side here. So now what I want to do is I pulled a few backgrounds that I thought, okay, well, I can play around with these. Let's see which ones are the ones that I have that might be the most overwhelming, right? Because those are the ones that I think you guys might need the most help with. Okay, this is a pretty dark and saturated panel, right? So pretty colors on there, which is really lovely. Here's another one. This one's pretty dark and saturated. Lots of splotch work on there. So I don't know. What do you think about that? This one's really quite pretty. Lots of shine to it, but again, very dark. Could be kind of intense. Another one here. This one's not as dark. It just might be a little busy. And then I've got this one here. Okay. So quite a bit to look at quite a bit to see on here, and you know, kind of lots of colors, some shine. So what I want to do is I'm going to pull my piece here and I'm going to kind of put it over top and see, okay, what do I actually like in the background? Which one's going to give me like some really pretty impact? You start to get a sense of, okay, what's actually going to work here. Okay. So that's quite lovely. That's pretty nice. And that's also pretty cool. I kind of do like. Okay, so the other thing that I want to be aware of is I think that these pieces are all going to be a little too small because what I want to cut is I'm going to be cutting another one of these to put on top. Then I also have to have the space to go behind. So I need something to go behind, enough material to go behind, and also to cut out my sentiment, right? So that leaves me basically with these two. So how much is that? That's not quite enough, but I could get one cut out of that. Nope, that's gonna cut that off. Okay, so this piece is not big enough. See how we narrow it down? That works out pretty gosh darn good. All right, so that means I'm gonna have to use this one. I'm gonna need to get at least two pieces out of this. So I can get my sentiment will cut out of this. I can get my card base here or my candle base, and I need the background as well, right? And this candle base, I may not necessarily want to use these colors. We'll see when we start to put it together. I might have to cut it out of gold or silver to coordinate with this. But let's start with this. So let's bring in my tray here. Okay, so I am going to tape these down because I do to, wait a minute, let's see, if I do that, does that give me enough? Okay, so I'm going to grab as much of the color for my sentiment as possible. I do want some of these colors and tones. Does this give me enough? Yeah, actually, I think it does. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my birthday wishes out of this part here. Take that into position so it doesn't move when I go to trim it with the die cut machine. And then I'm also going to give this a cut here. And I take this into place here. Okay. So those should stay pretty good as I go to through it, run it through. Mostly it's just so that it doesn't shift as I'm positioning it into moving it over to my trimmer now, or my die cut machine. So I'm just going to run that through my die cut machine. Okay. So in order to make this a shaker card, what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to take my opening and I have some acetate here. You kind of can see it there. I'm going to need to adhere that behind my window that I have here. Whoops, don't tear the card. All right, so I can see that I need to trim about an inch off. Not quite an inch, about a half an inch. So I'm just going to take some scissors. I don't need it to be straight. There's going to be some room in behind there. And there we go. Okay, so now I'm going to take some liquid adhesive and I'm going to run that along the edge here. Now, you could also use foam tape or double-sided adhesive. Either is fine. I tend to use liquid adhesive because I have it. It's inexpensive, and that's what I'm going to use. But I want to catch around the edges here. And I am going to stick down my pasta. I'm going to give it a bit of a wipe off here because I seem to have gotten some smudgies on it. And I'm going to stick that into place, kind of burnish it, allow that liquid adhesive to grasp on all the way around. And then I'm going to pull over some stamping blocks here. And I'm going to move that and push that down and allow that adhesive to dry just a little bit and kind of grab on to that space. Now, I'm going to pull these guys off. Now, this tape that I'm using here is mint tape from scrapbook.com, and it's a low tack tape. So it releases really nicely, usually without tearing your project, which is great. Don't want it to tear your cardstock. And I just utilize the pieces multiple times until they start to fall apart so much that I have to throw them away. Okay, so I get quite a bit of use out of them before it's not enough to use it, or I can't use it anymore, basically. All right, put that to the side here, and to the side. Here now, it didn't quite cut through on the one end here, so I'm going to pull out my fussy cut scissors. And that's because this edge here is a little fine, and this is through watercolor paper, which is thicker than cardstock. Because as I said, this technique was using, I believe this one was using explosion powders and mica distress sprays, mica sprays. And so there was a lot of water playing with it. And typical cardstock is not going to handle that very well without tearing. Now, if I wanted, I could use this, you know, on another card, and I could put it together like that. That's kind of neat. Maybe I will keep that. Cut that out. That's lovely. Okay. I don't believe I need this. Put that aside. And let's pop out our birthday wishes. Just gonna pop these out. Yeah. Look at how nice that die is. It's really pretty. Like, or the result of that is it's given this really beautiful color to this is what it looks like just cut out of white. Now it's going to have this instead. So we're going to add that on. Now this is 2 layers of white that I pre-cut and adhered together. And so now I'm just going to come in with some liquid adhesive again to pop these 2 together. Or, well, I guess technically this is the 3rd layer. So it's going to add some nice dimension on the front of my card, which will be lovely. And sorry, sometimes I can't talk and glue at the same time. Make sure I'm getting good coverage there. Okay, so now I'm just going to hover this kind of over the top, over top of my other die cuts that I've done here. Kind of move it into position, and then by using the liquid adhesive, I have just enough time to kind of squidgy it into place if I need to, shifting it along a little bit. And I'm going to pick up my stamp blocks and put those down in order to have that grasp together. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some like that. I'm getting some pretty decent color along the way there. Like that. Yeah, I kind of like that. Yeah. Okay, so this is essentially going to be adhered in behind my where my window is. So I can just trim this. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just want to be able to have this sit in behind and have enough clearance on the sides to adhere to the back of my card. So I know that this is the size that I have cut out. So as long as it's bigger than that, I should have enough room to put my adhesive around the edges. So let's give that a go and see what that looks like. Yeah, so that fits just like that. That's what that's going to look like. So what I'm going to do now is, again, I'm going to come in. Oh, I'm lying because I need to put foam tape behind this first. That's what I need to do. Okay, so let's work from the front then. So I have a couple of options if I want. So I'm going to pull this out because I don't want this piece here. I think what I want to do is I am going to fit this piece, the white one, in like so. And then I'm going to I'm going to add this piece on top like that. Okay. Then we will have our birthday wishes. That's going to go there like that. That looks really lovely. And now, do I want to have this behind there? Is that a little too busy? What do we think? Okay, so we could take the, oopsie, could just leave it like that. So we can do it like that. Or the other thing is we maybe leave this, have it like this. Like so, and the white. Also have this slightly to the edge here. To the side. Like that. And then if it goes on top of just white, imagine it's not this cream. Well, that's quite nice. I think I might like that. Okay. But first things first, I'm going to adhere these two together. So let us pull some adhesive. So typically when I'm using liquid adhesive, I always go on the back of, well, obviously on the back, but sometimes people will stick, if they're doing multiple layers, they'll do their adhesive on the top. Like I could have done the adhesive on the top of this white layer, but basically I want this adhesive to be on the back of this layer so that if it's going to squidge out or it's going to do anything, it's going to go onto the white and kind of squidge out into the sides and go, kind of squidge out down below or down into those areas there instead. It's really all just a preference-based thing. Does it make a difference? I don't know. It's just how typically I have done it. So I tend to find I get less adhesive on the fronts of my dies if I do it from the back versus putting it on the top of the white and then doing that. Okay, let's just kind of squidge that together, like so. Okay. And now I want to, again, add adhesive onto the back of my die cut here. And then I am going to adhere this onto my acetate. And that's going to take a minute because, again, acetate, it's not going to absorb the adhesive, right? It's a non-porous surface. So I need to make sure that I'm going to squish this down. There's going to be a little bit that's kind of going to squish out the sides and adhere. And I'll have to give it a minute for it to actually sort of almost like activate on the adhesive, on the acetate. I'm going to fit this into the square that was kind of cut here, or the rectangle space. And down, and I want to make sure that it is in that space. I don't want anything of the acetate showing through. I want this to look like it's fitting as it's supposed to, right in that slot. Okay, and do that so that that can activate together. Let me add my sentiment on here. Pretty much probably should have started my my shaker window first before doing this, but here we go, committed now. Just in case I make a boo-boo on the shaker window, because that happens, right? All right. What's nice about this particular sentiment is that it's got some beefiness to it. So it's pretty easy to actually utilize the liquid adhesive on it. Okay, so let's go there. That. Okay. All right. Now we have some choices. So here's the interesting thing. Let's pull out where's that one here? Let's do, yeah. Let's check out and see what happens if we pull some different colored cardstocks. Because now I can put this on white or I can put it on some different colors, especially if I'm deciding not to utilize this guy behind my shaker window, right? So I can do it on white like this. It'll be popped up a little bit and just do it on the white. That's one option. This green, that kind of pops off of there. That's quite nice. That's kind of different. Or on this turquoisey color. That's really also quite nice. That's kind of different. Let's see, I think that might be too dark behind too dark. What do you guys think? I think so. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm liking this green background here. That's surprising to me. Because I do have some of this green in my background that I cut up. So there is some of that green. And this would still show my elements, my shaker elements, without it being too pale. Like the white on white is okay. That'll be perfectly lovely. But I think this is going to be kind of cool. Oh, decisions. Okay. So definitely not this color. So let's put that aside. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, tough decision. So hold that up. I don't know. The white is just really, it's really simple. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll do with the white. We'll do with the white. We'll do with the white. So now what I'm going to do is pull out. If you've never seen a shaker card, now what you need to do is you need to line your you're going to use some foam tape to line up your or raise up your image. We're going to create a pocket behind here. Okay. And the most important thing is that your that the entirety of your the pocket or the hole, whatever you want to call this, that the entirety of it is sealed. Okay. So basically what that means is that none of these, so all of your joins are all butted up right against each other. So you can see here, I've come up right to the edge of that. We'll go right down the side here. Oh, it's just a little long. Of course it is. Yeah. So, and these particular strips, oh, I don't know. These might be penny black ones. Don't quote me on that. But what's really handy about them is that they're strips and they fit into place really nicely, quite easily. Boy, bummer. Those are still too long. So cut this here. Your joins need to be butted right up against each other here. You want to make sure that you don't have any holes, because if somebody goes to shake their shaker card and you've got a space here, all of your shaker bits are going to come out all over their floor. And let me tell you, people certainly appreciate that. Not. Okay. So now, because I've popped this up, I want to make sure that I have that the rest of my card is also popped up. I can't just have that one little bit. I still have to have the rest of it raised up, right? Mm. Now, these joins here don't necessarily need to be perfect because there's not going to be any shaker material in this area here. I just have to make sure that there is something that is holding up my card in all of these kind of empty spaces here. Okay. All right. So I'm going to put those to the side. Now I've only done a single layer here because I'm not planning on putting in a lot on my shaker card. And then there are a couple of ways that you can do this. You can put your shaker material into your card space here and then, add your card front this way. Make sure I've got that going the right way. I tend to kind of put my shaker bits in this way and then turn it over. So I kind of get these started, but I don't want my shaker bits, when I put them in, I don't want them going onto my adhesive. So let me see here. So what are the colors that I use? Now I pulled out a few things that I thought would kind of go with these. So I've got some silver sequins, a little bit of kind of almost like a, I don't know, it's a slightly thicker chunk of a sequin. And then again, just some more hexagon sequins. So I don't need a lot of them. I am going to add in a little bit, and you can see here that I've got little pieces here that are now lovely going all over the place, which is also why I didn't want to have my adhesive exposed already, because I thought that might happen. So see here, I can kind of wipe this off and it's not going to get into all of my adhesive because all of these little sequins will block how well my shaker card will stick together. Okay. So now pop this off. Maybe not. Wait, that's on there. Trying to do this without getting it all over the place. Oh, there we go. Okay. And I don't know about you guys. I tend to go overboard on my shaker cards. I like them to make noise, but then sometimes I end up going overboard so much that my shakers don't move. Now, if you find that that's a problem for you, try and do double layer then. Do 2 layers of tape, double it up, and then you won't have, you'll be able to have a little bit more movement. Alrighty, so let's pop that on there. Okay, so now I'm going to peel my tapes. This is going to take a minute because I want to make sure that I'm getting my tape without trying to move around my sequins and everything too much, because it ends up popping up a wee bit, which we don't want. And every time that your card panel jumps, you pop some of your sequins out, right? And then they jump onto your adhesive, which is right where you don't want it. I don't want any sequins on my adhesive if I can help it, because that lessens the chances of it sticking to my card base. Okay. Just like that. See, because I let it go and it sort of popped up just a bit. Good one. And sometimes, I don't know if you're one of those people, such as myself, I talk to my project. Do you talk to your projects? Does it help? I don't know. Sometimes I think it helps. Sometimes I think it doesn't. Don't know that it matters. Right. And I can grab that one there. Go. This guy's here. Oh, home stretch on the adhesive here, guys. So, question here for everybody. Let me know in the comments there. Do you make shaker cards? What's your favorite method of making shaker cards? I taught a class a couple of years ago now on of making flat shaker cards. Flat shaker cards are super fun. No bulk and a little easier than trying to get all of this adhesive kind of like this. So they're super fun. Used to make those quite a bit. I like shaker cards because I like the noise, and I have a problem with buying sequins and these kinds of things that then well, not never, but then I don't use them as often as I could. And so I have them because I had great intentions of making shaker cards, wonderful intentions that sometimes, you can see I had a jump and now I've got a couple of pieces in my adhesive here. There we go. Let's pick that one out. Don't let everything else pop up. Come on, come on, come on. I got distracted asking you about, do you guys like to make shaker cards? I remember seeing and making my first shaker card like years and years ago. Oh, not years and years. I mean, it's not that many years. But a couple of years ago, I made my first shaker card and I packed, well, I think how many of you have heard the story of when I made my first Christmas cards and put like all sorts of wood embellishments on them and everything. I didn't really think about the size and mailing them and all of those kind of things. And they were just so thick and so heavy. And so my first shaker card, I didn't double the foam, so to have that extra space. And truthfully, in order to have it shake with how much I stuck in there, I would have needed to triple the foam. That's how thick it was. So it's been a learning curve. But again, it's because I love the shine and I love the sounds and the everything. So it's like, oh yeah, I really want that. But then it's like, oh dear. Okay, so here's the trick now is that I have to try and guesstimate where this is going to go, which is never too fun. Okay. Oh, right around there. Ooh, let's see here. Now, before I turn it over, I am going to give it a good burnish and we're going to hope like heck. Oh, that's actually not bad. It's a little lower than I would like on the card front here. I would have liked it to be a little bit further, a little bit higher up, but that works pretty darn good for a blind placing. Yeah, anyways, as I was saying, it ended up being quite thick. And so, I've had to learn my lesson on that. But let's give this a bit of a burnish around the edges, particularly around the frame of the shaker card, right? I want to make sure, let me see that I've got a little bit of adhesive down in that corner there. Okay. But I did get it quite straight. Yay me. Okay. And let's give it a shake. I love that sound. I do love the sound of a shaker. And pretty good shake. Nothing's coming out. And now I think because of the shaker bits and the sequins and everything inside, I think that that's more than enough bling. The sentiment has enough weight to it. I don't think it needs pearls. You could certainly put some Nouveau drops on or some flat back pearls or something like that. Certainly, if you would like to, that's absolutely an option if you want. But I think that this is a really nice card already, taking a fairly busy background and turning it into something that has white space, utilizing a die, but taking something that could be a very chaotic or a very scary background, or how do I utilize this thing that I was playing with and trying out different techniques to create now a card that is actually usable, that isn't necessarily blinding to someone or too overwhelming. So this is a technique of how do I create some calm in what could be a very chaotic background. Okay. So I hope you've enjoyed the class today. Please remember to like if you haven't already liked the video, subscribe if you're new, or if you're a returning viewer and haven't subscribed, I'd love to have you continue to be notified when I post a video. Yeah, make a comment. Let me know. Do you make shaker cards? Have you got busy backgrounds that you're not sure what to do? And think that you might be able to give one or two of these techniques a try, because that'd be really cool. Hopefully you're finding it valuable. Yeah, make sure you're putting that down in the comments. Yeah, also I will have my Buy Me a Coffee link down in the description. If you enjoy my class length videos and the tips and tricks that I'm sharing with you, feel like you would like to help me out or would like to make a donation to the cause of Corrine's Craft Room, By all means, please check me out on my Buy Me a Coffee. Till then, take care, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.